Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, Pastor Dow here. Well, I do have a morning commentary here. As we know that tomorrow is election day. And of course, I have my own opinion about things, as well as others do as well. So I thought I had my 2 cent worth. But what I want to do is walk it up here for a second. You know, if I've heard it this time, I probably heard it this time more during this election than I have before ever. You see, personally, I believe that our society as a whole, I'm speaking about the American society, is in a very, very serious moral decay and a moral decline. I think our morality really, truly stinks. I think we have arrived and have gotten to the point that we don't know right from wrong and wrong from right. And I think it's a terrible situation, especially considering you've got to ask yourself, what do you want your children to be influenced by in the upcoming years? And so that's the reason why I think it's bad what I see what's going on. Of course, my solution to that is get out the cities. You don't want to be caught in these population centers where the alternative lifestyle and the alternative mindset, the alternative perspective and another outlook from the old past and the old ways, which is, you know, real true peace, is being compromised. But I heard it again just the other day. A person who really truly believed that they have some form of intelligence made a comment and said, well, there's 2 things I don't talk about, religion and politics. And of course, you know, I boldly said it to him, and it was in the store. I said the reason why you don't talk about neither one of them because you're a hypocrite in both of them. You don't go to church, or you don't attend any church service, or you're not accountable to any people in any assembly whatsoever at all, and you constantly call them hypocrites. And the reason why you don't go because you're too busy pointing the finger at them, calling them hypocrites, because if you got there, there'll be one more hypocrite. And the reason why you don't talk about politics is because you're too stupid to actually chime in on weighty matters that's going to influence or have influence over our lives. And so some people think that it's a very sensitive area to talk about stuff like that, but I don't mind having vigorous dialogue and debate about certain subjects. Now, I'm a little bit intelligent than some people. If it's something I don't know, I just kindly sit back and listen. I evaluate, I analyze, I use critical thinking skills. You don't usually ever hear me talking about nothing that I don't know anything about, because I realize that whenever I get on here in this public platform and I say anything, my words are going to be examined, they're going to be scrutinized to the zenith, and somebody just can't wait for me to make one false statement. It's a sad reality, but it's true. Hey, nevertheless, I'm here. And some people, they have benefited off of my wisdom over the years. And they have actually loved and still do love listening to Pastor Dow. And I thank them, my listening audience, for listening to me. But anyway, I'm going to walk this up here a little bit, okay? Ever since 2015, when the Supreme Court somehow made a clean sweep and made the alternative lifestyle a form of morality, you had a lot of people losing jobs. A lot of people refused to, they couldn't get them out of their elected officials' jobs because they refused to give license out marrying man and woman and woman. Of course, I personally don't understand. I don't even comprehend why, if you choose to marry a woman, did our founding fathers go get a marriage license? Did they? So why are you going getting one? I mean, you have to think about it. Every time you do something with the state, and anytime it seems like that they're giving you some kind of benefits, you better believe there's something that is not disclosed to you in that contract. There's something that is not disclosed to you in those terms and those conditions. And so anytime you contract with the government in any way, shape, fashion, or form of the state, you may want to do it tongue in cheek, one hand behind the back. Sorry about the sun, but that's just the way it is. It's behind me right now, but it'll get out of there. Y'all know what I look like. But you may want to be very, very careful, because usually whenever you contract with the state and you sign your name on a dotted line, you're saddling up for later on to be taken advantage of. You're saddling up later on to have the beast system to rule and dominate over you and do it unmercifully, because power and absolute power concedes nothing. So from that time on, and then next thing you know, we had Donald Trump run for president. I've watched the news media, and I still to this day don't understand why people are wasting their time listening to CNN, MSNBC, ABC, 60 Minutes, even some of the people at Fox News. I don't even understand why people even wasting their time. There are so many alternative sources out there of news media, truthful sources out there that you can listen to and get to the bottom line and know the truth, so that way you'll know how to navigate in life. Because I sit there and watch this Russian collusion thing with Donald Trump. I sit there and watch the democratically run House impeach Donald Trump in the House, and then they got mad and upset because the Senate wouldn't impeach him, which, mind you, they're all controlled by Republicans. I think what will be a nightmare for this country, a literal nightmare for this country. I think what would be the greatest nightmare is if the Democrats not only control the presidency, but the House and the Senate. That would be an ultimate nightmare. The other day, I had someone, while we was in these talks, they said to me, "You seem like you pro-Trump." I said, "What makes you think that I'm pro-Trump?" Simply because I agree on some things that he say and I disagree on others. All right? He says, "Well, you seem to be talking a lot favorably about him." I said, "No, I talk favorably about truth and facts." He says, "Okay, so tell me one thing that Trump has done." I said, "I'll give you one thing." I said, "I know one thing that people don't like it. He's actually removed the entitlement mentality away from a lot of people. I actually think it was a good thing when he made moves to get people off of welfare. You know, a lot of people off of welfare, because they gave them an incentive to get off their asses and get out here and hit it and go work like the rest of us do. I don't see what's wrong with that. The Democrats want to handicap people and continue to keep giving them government subsidiaries and handouts. Believe me, I understand that at times, some of us, many of us, we may need a handout, but that don't mean we sit there and live on it and then become producers of nothing but just takers of everything. And of course, when I said that statement, they just sat and looked at me. They really just sat and looked at me. And then I said on the flip side, I really truly don't like his stand against the white supremacists. And mind you, I'm in a redneck town talking to white folks now. I really truly don't like his stand because it sends mixed signals. But that don't mean that I'm going to lose my feces over it either. I said my whole thing has to do with the Second Amendment, and I don't care about all the other issues. You know the reason why? Because the Second Amendment guarantees me, as long as I've got breath in my body and my trigger finger is on, it guarantees me all the rights in the world that I've got. All right? So I started tripping out because everybody seems to forget how that CNN and everybody kept trying to tout truck with this Russian collusion. Russia, rigged elections, all this other stuff. And then come to find out, after 2 or 3 years of this nonsense and this rhetoric where they kept on flooding the airways with it, they come up with nothing. And why ain't nobody talking about this? So wouldn't that in your own right and in your own mindset, wouldn't that discredit all the mainstream news media who was looking for his head and his head to spin? And I tell you what's equally and greatly disturbing. Now Hunter Biden, it's a fact that he is in the Russian. It's a fact that the Bidens are corrupt. It's a fact that they deal with China and Russia. It's a fact that they are a corrupt family. And now they done come out with the laptop that's been hiding for over a year or something like that. All of these are facts. And you know what? They're doing everything they can to sweep it on the rug. I'll tell you what tripped me out. I watched a little bit of that debate. Well, I watched a little bit of that interview with Joe Biden in 60 Minutes. And I sat back and I kept waiting for when is the hard questions going to come. I'm waiting on it. They never came. I mean, they asked him what was his favorite ice cream. So then I said, okay, I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to get my popcorn on this one. I said, okay, now I'm going to see how it actually goes with Trump. Man, 60 Minutes went in there. Their posture is just, And I tell you, ooh-wee, was people getting, man, they were getting upset. Ooh, my. Man, they were getting upset and people were getting fired up. And I tell you, it's I sit there watching, go back and forth, the dishonor, the disgrace. Finally, he had to just get up and walk out of the interview. Because I personally wouldn't have been there. See, I understand that there's certain things and certain venues and avenues you have to go in order to try to cross aisles in order to reach people and stuff. But you got to know when you're walking into a lion's den. And I know a lot of it is just politically driven and stuff like this. But all mainstream news media should have lost its credibility by now. Now, I tell you, the biggest and the craziest thing is that I don't care what news media you go to source. All of them, Biden's up by 10 points. Biden's up by 5 points. Biden's up. And of course, I'm going to tell you how I look at this, okay? If he's up by 10 and 5 points, or if he's up by 10% or 5%, okay, if he's up by 10% and 5% in all of these states right here, okay, then why is he going to campaign in those states that he's already up in? It makes no sense. It's nonsensical. I'm going to tell you what it is, because the news media is lying. The news media, the mainstream news media, is trying to put forth an illusion. They want Biden in there. They want business to return back as usual. So bad. So bad. That they can't stand it that the country is not being sold down the tubes no more. They can't stand it because the rich people, the aristocrats, the pockets are no longer being lined by China and all these other people who they do back deal rooms and favors for. And I tell you, I think it's an utter joke. I think it's a joke when you got Joe Biden, corrupt, ain't did nothing in 47 years. How do you be in politics that long and ain't done nothing? And then you get Kamala Harris, and we already know her history with downtown Willie Brown, how she got into it, and how she disproportionately locked up melanated people in California just for the tiniest infractions. It's crazy to see who put these people up. I don't think that the American people put these people up. I think that there's something going on. I think that there's an agenda going on purposely. I really, truly do. But there's no way that I believe that all these polls are turned around favoring Biden in every state, in every single county throughout the United States of America. I don't think that for one bit, but we're going to see. Because right now, I think that the whole system is so corrupt that I don't see the Democrats conceding this election right here. Now, we'll see. We'll see. I see that there's going to be, this is my personal opinion, I see that there's going to be some type of riots in the street. If the American public can sense and say that there's foul has been cried or cried foul, I'm telling you, we are in some times right here. So what do I do in order? I told you what I did. I checked out a long time ago. I'm preserving myself, and I'm preserving the people who listen to me and who follow me. And you know all of my political perspectives, point of views, and everything else that I do in life. You call it religiously based. I call it truth based. See, I believe in the truth of the scriptures, the Bible. That's why I draw all my truth from, because I don't know no other greater source of truth than that. No other greater source of morality than that. I don't care about what the Pope says that he's changed his view. Well, God ain't never changed his view. He's still the same, yesterday, today, and forever. You don't care about what man says. And we all going to go to judgment with that. I promise we all are. But it's amazing to me. The hypocrisy is off of the proverbial chain. So, you know, I'm a little bit older, and I'm a hell of a lot more wiser than I used to be. I remember I used to be passionate about so many things and stuff about didn't have the ability to change. But the one thing I do have the ability to change is myself. And so I put a lot of time, energy, and effort, attention. And like I said again, I use a hell of a lot more critical thinking right now than I did when I was younger. I analyze stuff very, very carefully. And I move real slow before I adopt a position on something. And the reason why I do that is because usually that position or whatever things that I'm adopting or whatever things I'm doing or whatever truth I come to is going to affect me and it's going to affect all those that are in my life for years to come. So the choices and the decisions I make, they better damn well be right, because they have the influence to either destroy a lot of people or help a lot of people prosper. That's real true. concern comes from someone that is a leader. And a leader, in order to be a leader, or the definition of leadership is the process of influencing men in such a manner to be able to, in order to accomplish the mission at hand, the task at hand. As much to be desired, there's many things that need to be said, and many things need to be done. I think that we would all do well if you do take my advice, get out of the cities, get as far away from people as you can, get to a place to where when you are able to go outside in some similitude or something like that, create your own communities. See, I have quite a few communities throughout the United States of America. And when I travel, I'm usually traveling to one of those communities. And I love to be able to go to a community where I can tell a male from a female. I'm telling you, and nobody's confused about who they are or what they are. Man, I tell you, I love to see all our children homeschooled. They're being trained up in the way that we want them to be, not the way that the world wants them to be. I love that. I don't see what's wrong with it. I just actually love it. I love that our children are being brought up not in fairy tales and lies of Christianity, but they're being brought up by the truth of the Bible, and they're living by that. Because what does the book say? Man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds forth out of the mouth of Yah. Always bold and farewell for me. What about you?